Hey, what's up? This is Todd Smith. I'm back with another video. In this video, I want to talk about what was your very first synthesizer? What was the piece of electronic gear that started off this electronic madness or possible electronic synthesis addiction that you are, the road that you're currently on in your electronic music life? What was the original piece that kickstarted it all? For me, my very first piece was a Korg N364. It was the flagship workstation from Korg at the time, in 100% digital. Very much a menu dive, but amazing sounds. I don't know how well they would hold up today. I imagine even some of the pads would be alright, and some of the more atmospheric sounds are probably still pretty relevant today. But overall, it's a fairly dated engine compared to today's modern synthesizers. I played with the N364 for a while, and after a few months, realized I was going down the right road with synthesizers, but I kind of made the wrong initial choice. That I really wanted more knobs, and I wanted more direct control over my sounds. So I ended up trading the N364 for what I consider my first real setup. My first setup that really stuck with me for multiple years. And it's really the setup that I learned all basics of synthesis that I even use today. The first thing I picked up was a Virus B. I picked up a Virus B tabletop, no keys at the time, and that gave me a nice solid sound base with some knobs and parameters that I could tweak live. But I needed a sequencer. So at the time I went with the budget sequencer of the MC303. So I actually used the MC303 as just a drum machine and sent all the instrument parts MIDI out to my Virus, which gave me 7 instrument parts. And then I could stack Virus parts on top of it and double the parts up if I wanted to juice some parts. So it gave me actually a lot of flexibility. And at that era, I feel it was a really great setup. And that MC303 and the Virus B was really, as I said, kind of my central learning setup. I spent my first 2 years of electronic music 100% just on that setup, learning just the basics of electronics, sequencing, synth parameters, effects, creating some sort of song structure, creating something that actually sounded decent. So technically, the N364 was my first keyboard, but I really realized really quick it wasn't for me. So the Virus B and the MC303 was definitely the first setup that just really just stuck with me and held. What really drove me to get into really synthesis to begin with was kind of some underground 80s industrial, 90s, early 90s industrial music and experimental electronic music that I was hearing. So that type of music was really kind of the push to me to kind of explore synthesis, because I really wanted to explore the instruments that were creating those type of sounds. And that's kind of what led me going towards the Virus route and more live parameters and virtual analog and things that I could tweak, while playing live. And that is how my electronic music journey started. And, it's evolved into what you see today. I did take some breaks, and so I didn't have my setup my whole entire lifetime. To say the least, I've lived a pretty crazy life. And I've had to almost restart a few times, and that includes my music studio. And there was actually a few times I even kind of, as a lot of people probably do who are tight with money and tight with life in general, question if you should even still be doing it, if it's worth your time, if you should be focusing on other things. But as now I know, I'm just never giving up on music, and I'm 100% dedicated to my studio, and what I have now I'll definitely keep expanding on in the future. So please tell me how your electronic music journey started. What got you into synthesis? What was your first synthesizer? I'd love to hear your journey. I think it's all very unique, like all of our setups and all the possibilities we have, all our synthesizers we choose. They're there for a reason. And I think that's all an awesome kind of unique story. And it's one of the more unique aspects of electronic music. And sometimes we take it too passionately, right? How many times do we fight, or do we see people fighting over setups, or not, for not using what they use, or hating on gear? When in reality, we should all just be really interested in why we each use different gear, because it really just shows who we are. And everyone really thinks that what they should use is the best. You know, everyone's mindset is the best, and I think it's really unique, and I think it's really awesome that we all use separate gear. And I would love to hear why you guys started on yours. So till next time, stay positive, stay creative, support each other. Peace.